This is the 2021 Audi Q8, and it is Audi's flagship ultra luxurious SUV, and today I'm going to review it. However, this Audi Q8 is not your normal Audi Q8. That's because this is actually our Audi Q8. Yes, we replaced our 2020 Volvo XC90 for this Audi Q8, and we actually replaced it today. And if you are interested in wanting to know why we replaced our XC90 with a Q8, I made a video on this channel about saying farewell to our XC90. So I recommend, if you are interested in wanting to replace a brand new 2020 car with a 2021 car, I'll watch that video because I'm not going to explain it in this video. Now, since it is actually our car, I'm going to go over why we chose the Q8, as well as the specific specification this Q8 is spec'd out in. Then I'm going to do a normal review like Shep's Tech Reviews Cars does, which is me. And I'm going to tell you, and then in the end, I'm going to give you a Shep score, an overall review in my opinion about the Q8. But first, let's start off with why we chose the Q8. So, why did we choose the Audi Q8? Now, I don't want to bore you with the entire story, but long story short, my mom wanted an Audi A5 convertible when she was looking at cars to replace her XC90 with. We've been looking at this for like a couple months now, and she had her heart set on an Audi A5 convertible. Long story short, I found an S5 convertible in quantum gray, the red interior. She loved the car. We test drove it, and when it came down to talking with my dad, he was like, we need an SUV, because we're so used to having one big car and one sedan. I mean, like, the sedan we have is the Tesla Model 3, so we do need a bigger car, which I understand why. My dad has a point. So my mom's been looking at bigger cars, and she has always loved the Q8. Ever since it debuted at the 2019 NYC Auto Show, she loved it and could not stop talking about when she saw it on the road. She was like, that car is so pretty. And now we have one. But that gets us into the specific spec that this car is in. So I have the official window sticker in my hand here for this exact car. So I'm going to go over every single specification this car is in, and by the way, we didn't choose this, we just bought it off the lot, but it had everything we wanted. So this is a 2021 Audi Q8 55 TFSI Quattro. So it has the 355 horsepower V6 with 380 pound-feet of torque. So the base car starts at $68,200, and the Volsa Beige Metallic, I think that's how you say it, it was $595. So this beige color was $595, totally worth it. I love this color. The Saga Beige interior is included. This one has the Premium Plus package, so this is a Q8 Premium Plus trim, so that's the middle trim. That's a $3,850, that package costed $3,850 to $3,850. I don't know why I can't get numbers out right now. Then we have the executive package, which gives, which is a $2,800 option, which gives you these really nice Matrix style headlights, the ones behind me. It has Audi beam rings, the Audi guard protection pit, Audi guard wheel lock pit, and then the lava brown Eclipse natural wood inlays, destination charge, for a total price of $77,460. Now, we didn't pay $77,000 for this car. We actually only paid, I'm not gonna really say the amount, but it was around 30 grand, because with the trade-in with an XC90, you pay the difference, and the difference was around 30 grand. So in the end, it's kind of a good deal, but I don't know, it's a great car. But without that mishmash out of the way, let's get right into this review. Now let's have a bit of an overview of this Q8. The Q8 came out in 2019 to rival the other German car makers, with BMW with its X6 and Mercedes with its GLE Coupe. Now the X6 started this entire thing of turning SUVs into cool looking cars, or cool looking coupes, is to have an SUV platform and then put a coupe design on it. So with the BMW with the X6, they had the base of it was the X5, but they made a whole new design that makes it look like a coupe. And then And then BMW, and then Mercedes did it with its GLE coupe, and that it looks very interesting. And that was based on the normal GLE SUV, but it's now a coupe version of it. Audi uses its platform from the Q7 and then put a coupe design on it. However, instead of making it terrible like all the other car makers, Audi got together and said, let's make it good, and this is the result. Now, Audi has right now 4 SUVs. It has actually 5 SUVs, or no, 6. It has starting out with Q3, Q5, and Q7, and they also have the e-tron Sportback and the e-tron, that's 5, and then the Q8. And the Q8 is actually meant to be the cool one for those people that don't want a Q7 but want a big Audi SUV. If you don't need 7 seats, this is what you get from Audi. Now, let's start off at the front of the Q8, where there are a couple quirks and features. Yes, I'm going to go over all the quirks and features with this car. Starting out with the headlights. That is right, this car is actually equipped with the Matrix 3D style headlights, which do a little dance when you unlock the car. So not only do the turn signals flash sequentially, but they do a little dance. Take a look. So the tail lights do a little flash sequentially, then do a little dance. However, they don't do it when they unlock the car. Only when you unlock it, it does that cool little back and forth dance. Now, is there a point to this? No. Is this going to be useless? Yes. But it's these tiny little things that make this car and other cars really, really cool. Now with these headlights, these headlights are a part of the executive package. So the standard headlights are normal headlights, but the ones a part of the executive package are the headlights. You get these headlights. Now, what's so cool about them is that there's this technology that Audi has developed that when you're driving at night, these headlights can go around other people or turn off one of these single LEDs to make it to not blind people in their eyes. Now, I love this technology, but it's not here yet, and we're just waiting for legislation to allow it. But legislation doesn't allow it now, so I don't know why they don't allow it already. But that technology is unavailable, so you're really only buying it for the cool look and the cool unlocked style Matrix headlights. As well as another quirk at the front of the Q8 is right here. Now, these are the headlights again, but you may notice that there is actually no yellow reflector. Now, the US government mandates that you must have a yellow reflector at the front of the car and then a red reflector at the back of the car. I have no idea why there is no front reflector here until you look at the headlight. You can see that the yellow reflector is built into the headlight. This is really ingenious of Audi, because now they have an awesome front look with no yellow reflector slapped on the car like most cars. Now, it's also really cool that I noticed at the front of the headlights is that there's actually 3 headlights. The top part is a normal LED running light, but the bottom part here is the fog light, so that's separated from the actual normal headlight. Also, the turn signals are actually sequential. Take a look. I'm gonna hop into the car real quick just to show you guys the Matrix style turn signals. You can see that the turn signal is actually sequential, like an actual construction sign telling you to merge. I find this very cool, and also a really cool detail of the Audi Q8. Now we head to the back of the Q8. I apologize for the lawn work. Those are some neighbors doing some lawn work. But anyways, taking a look at the back of the Q8, it also has sequential turn signals. However, it doesn't do a little dance when it unlocks. I have no idea why, but it just doesn't. As well as you may notice the giant rear light bar. Light bars are becoming the new hot trend in cars, and I think it's so cool that the Audi Q8 offers a light bar. This one giant light across the back end. It looks so good and so sleek and so futuristic at the exact same time. Now, also look at the back of the Q8, you also may notice the turn signals. Now, as I mentioned, the turn signals don't do this cool flashy dance at the back of the car. As well as you may notice that they're actually two signals that flash, as well as you have this top sweeping one that Audi is mainly known for, but also this bottom one. The reason why that is the US mandates that a certain brightness of flash has to appear on the first flash. So that is why that the Audi had to think of doing the flashing in a different way, but in Europe they don't have the mandate there, so it's just the top sweeping part, which I think is kind of cool. Next, taking a look at the trunk, you could either open it two ways, from the underside of the car here, or from the key fob. And you may notice that the trunk space back here is actually fairly good. Now, taking a look at the trunk space back here, sorry, all of our crap is in the back. We just picked up this car today, and we have to put everything back. But you may notice that there's actually a lot of space back here. So you can see that even though you're suffering for the coupe design, you still have a lot of room back here, and as well as even because a lot of it's being taken up by this piece of portion right here, since the car is like sloped down. But even if you screw the seats up, you do have a good amount of room, as well as you have lots of tethering points and things like that around here, and netting and stuff like that. But everything is, the trunk space actually back here is very interesting, as well as you may notice that the trunk is actually, instead of being illuminated with halogen bulbs, you have LED strips, which I find very, very cool. Also, one additional thing about the back of the car is that where the exhaust lead, I do not like the way where the exhaust lead. You can see that down here. You might be thinking, oh, the exhaust is down there. No, that doesn't lead to anything. Where it actually leads is actually under the car. Now, why does Audi do this? Styling, obviously, but is there any other reason why? No, I honestly don't know why they do this, but I hate when people put exhaust, like fake exhaust on the bumper. If you don't want to put your exhaust under your bumper, car makers, take note of this, don't style it to look like that there's exhaust there. Otherwise, it just looks really odd. Now, stepping inside the Q8, the first thing you notice are the screens. There are 3 of them. One of them in the gate for the gauge cluster, one of them for the center display, and then one of them down here. Now, I'm going to go over these displays in depthly so you guys get the idea of what it's like to have 3 screens in a car. For the first part, there are 2 displays in the center console. One 8-inch screen here and one 10-inch screen here. These screens control a lot of the every single aspect of the car to the point where Audi has no more conventional buttons or dials or switches, and yes, there is a volume knob. Down here is mainly your climate controls. If you can adjust each different climate control setting in the Q8, all from down here in this separate touchscreen. Now, additionally, you have normal function, like you can turn on your heated seat, or you can turn on your cooled seat. That's pretty normal for most cars, but what most cars don't have are dual 4-zone climate control. Let me explain. So as I said, 4-zone climate control. This means you can have temperature on one side, temperature on the other side. That's dual zone climate control. But 4-zone climate control is you can adjust each fan speed on one side of the car. So for example, if the driver wants a fan speed number 3, but the passenger wants fan speed number 4, you can configure that within the system here. So you can see that you can choose between the different fan speeds for each driver, not just temperature. As well as down here, you have a little more button that puts up all these other functions that Audi couldn't put down in this display, like your heated steering wheel. But for example, if you want your heated steering wheel down here, you can hold on one of the buttons and switch them around. I don't want to switch these around because I don't want to have them switch them back and forth. But anyways, you can configure these 2 buttons right here. So we haven't configured it as off or the heated steering wheel button, which is actually a very, very cool to have. As well as you adjust the how you adjust the temperature, you go tap, 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 like a normal car. Or if you want to adjust the normal other temperature, if you slide out like this, you can adjust the temperature this way as well, which is also another way to adjust the temperature. And if you pull them both towards each other, they sync. It's a very, very cool way to have Audi have two separate displays, one mainly focused on climate control, and then one mainly focused on the infotainment. This entire screen is dedicated to the infotainment system, and there's 3 pages of screens here. You have your main home screen here, but then you have your other screen here for all your other apps, and these apps are actually movable. So they're actually like your smartphone. If you hold it down, you can move it around like a normal smartphone, which is actually very, very cool. Additionally, you have all your functions right here. So I'm only going to cover some of the highlights, but for your radio, you have all your different presets and sources, and you have so many different sources with online, favorites, last stations. You can either search stations if you want to. If you go back to the home screen, you have even more functions like media. If you have music on a USB device and you want to put it onto your Q8. But this is where it gets really cool. If you go into vehicle, you can basically change every single aspect of the car, from your Audi Drive Select to your lights and visibility, to your seats, to the air conditioning on where you want that positioned, and so on and so forth. What's also really cool is with the interior mood lighting, has some interesting quirks and features in there. Now, moving on to the interior mood lighting, obviously you can choose your individual mood lighting. I gotta take the key out of my pocket. So you can choose your individual mood lighting. Right now I have set it on orange and purple, but you have the weirdest names for the interior mood lighting. You have Contour, which is white. Vision, that would be orange. That would be like a tan kind of color. Solar, that would be orange. Impulse, that would be red. Maritime, aka that would be blue. Caribbean, that would be a teal color, maybe to remind you of the Caribbean. I don't know. And you also have Audi Drive Select, which I have no idea what that means, but I'm guessing you can configure your interior mood lighting with your Audi Drive Select. I don't know. Or you can have individual, which is interesting. And you have individual, which is what most people have it set on. Additionally, the navigation system is absolutely amazing. You can mainly see everything on here. Parking garages, street signs, gas stations, things that are open or closed. The train stations, parks, and this is all powered by Google Maps. You can also see traffic. You can see construction signs, where there is construction, where there isn't construction, and as well as the best route for you. Banks, recommended good places to eat, and this is all powered by Google Maps. But when it comes time to set a destination, you can go over to search, and a touchpad appears on the bottom right here. And what you do with this is, normally you can write normal words, but if you want to, but it doesn't just do normal words, it does full words. So you can see, look up different types of things. So for example, Fenway Plaza, you can look up, or if I want to look up, landmark, you can look up full words, and it's just absolutely amazing. You can see everything and write all these different words. It's truly amazing that this system allows us to do that. Moving on to the 3D camera system, which is truly amazing. Push this button down here if you don't want to put it in reverse, and you have all these different ways to show different cameras. You have the rear wheels, you have the front wheels, you have the backup camera, you have a wider view of the backup camera. You have the top-down camera, the front camera, and the normal, and then the wide view front row camera, and then but the most impressive thing is a 3D camera, which shows a 3D picture around the car that's so accurate. The Audi even replicated the turn signals as well as if the Audi, of course, did the turn signals in the front, they also did them in the back as well, and it also sees the brake lights. This is very cool, and everything is lined up so perfectly, and it shows where everything meets. It's absolute, truly amazing about this car. As well as when you go into vehicle and when you go into the settings in service and garage door opener, you may notice that there's actually 8 garage door opener settings. That's right, there are 8. For the type of person that buys this car, the type of person that buys this car is gonna be like, yes, I have 8 houses, but I probably should program the garage door 7. Never know when I'm gonna take it up to my beautiful house in Maine, or my beautiful house down by the casino. Definitely need to program the garage door opener for that, or my private secret garage in New York City that no one needs to know about. Alright, so that is basically everything in the infotainment system, but now let's take a look at this infotainment system. This is what Audi calls their virtual cockpit. This is mainly Audi's not 3D, but whole screen setup. And here, all models of the Q8 come with this standard. You can configure different things inside here, like driver assistance, energy, date and time. You can see the 2 dials right there. You can see the 2 dials of the radio, the phone, or your navigation. But if you press view, the dials go smaller, and you can actually see the different things, but bigger this time. But what's even more cooler is previously you couldn't do this if you wanted to. Let's say if you don't like the look of these dials. If you go into settings, go into display and brightness, go into Audi virtual cockpit, you can choose between 2 different displays. So for example, if you want to have the dynamic display that the Audi S and RS models have, press dynamic, press yes, change now, and you have the dynamic displays, which is really, really cool. You can see the 2 displays like it's an RS model. Even if you press view, you can still see the 2 displays. Now let's move on the screen to down in the center console, where there are a couple of quirks and features down here. Starting out with the gear lever. Now, some people might be like, well, what is this and how do I use it? And some people are like, oh, that's the normal Audi gear lever. Well, how do you use it? It's simple. Have your foot on the brake like normal, and if you want to shift in reverse, push it all the way up, and you have put it in reverse. You can see a backup camera. What is really interesting about the backup camera is that it swivels with the wheels. I've never seen this ever, but it's such a cool feature. But even with the front camera, if you put it up the front camera also swivels. I find that so cool indeed. If you want to go into drive, pull it all the way back, and you should see D in the center display. But if you want to put in neutral, hold it and put a half push for neutral, and then push right there for park. Or if you want to put in manual mode, put it in drive, or then put in sport, and then put it in manual mode. And then park is just press P, and then it moves back into park. That is a very, very cool gear lever. And as well, let's move on to the cup holders. Now, most of Audi's models, or most cars at this point, have a cover over the cup holders. However, Audi decided to do covers over the cup holders. Now, why is this a quirk or feature? Well, it's because, well, here's the thing though. It's because Audi actually does do a cover over the cup holders, but only in Europe. I'm wondering if Audi did not want to do it for some reason here. I would like to know that in the comment section down below. Why didn't Audi do a cover over the cup holders here, but they do it in Europe? Additionally, moving on from the cup holders to the storage, which is actually fairly minimal. You have a wireless charger for your iPhone, and you have more storage right here. However, it's not a lot of storage at all, which is actually surprising for this big of an all-luxury SUV. This car also, interesting quirk or feature, is that this car also plays a welcome sound to welcome you to your Q8. Just take a listen when you turn on the car. Yes, I definitely need a welcome sound to welcome me to my $80,000 Audi. Now, stepping into the back seat of the Q8, this is where my mom sits, and this is where I sit. I have plenty of leg room back here. As you can see, I can mainly like stretch out almost, and plenty of headroom as well. I'm currently 5'3", and I have plenty of headroom back here. As you can see, even with the coupe design, I've sat in the GLE coupe and the X6 as well, and I've not had many room in those, and much room in those, compared to the Q8, where I actually have enough headroom. Additionally, back here, you have your interior mood lighting and your window switch, but what's interesting is the window only goes down this much. I do not know why, but child locks are it's something that I do not know why. Probably because of the coupe design, they had to have that factor in there. Storage there, but as well as the 4-zone climate control back here. Most cars, you have heated seats in the back, but you also have the ability to turn it on and off, but you don't have the ability to change the fan speed back here. So you can change the different fan speeds for each person back here, which I find very interesting. Another thing to add on is that the doors on the Q8 are frameless. This is extremely rare for an SUV, which means that you can put the windows down all the way, and it just has this beautiful look of an actual like sports car. I find that so cool, which obviously is a feature you do not get on a lot of luxury SUVs like today. And those are all the quirks and features of the Audi Q8. I absolutely love this car, and I'm so happy that we actually got it, and we're going to be living with it. So I'll give you guys a couple month reviews every single time to see what it's like living with the Q8, and maybe 5 things I hate about it and 5 things I love about it. So let me drop a like if you actually want me to do those kind of videos. But anyways, the people that might be wondering is, does Audi really need another SUV? And the answer is yes, with BMW with over 7 SUVs and Mercedes with over 8 in their lineup. Audi's really struggling and needs more variety. Audi currently has 6, and I bet more on the way with the Q4 e-tron on the way. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did, smash the like button. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.